Welcome back to Uncovermore, and this time we are in the Queen of Hills, Ooty, the place that looks calm on the surface but holds stories from over 2 centuries. Starting the morning around the Ooty Lake, and the view here is something else. Wide open fields, tall eucalyptus trees standing quietly in the distance, and a few farmers working under the soft sun. I take a small lane that leads to two beautiful houses sitting on a slope, each with a balcony view that looks straight over the lake. And you can see how peaceful life can be here. Just beside them, there's a small, humble house with red mud tiles, the kind you still find in old Ooty neighborhoods. A reminder that beyond all the tourist buzz, people actually live a simple and a slow life here. Back in 1821, a British officer named John Sullivan, who was then the collector of Coimbatore, trekked up these hills and discovered this stunning plateau. He was the first to write about it, calling it a paradise for all who love nature. He built the first house here known as the Stone House, and that became the starting point of what we now know as Ooty. The British fell in love with this place instantly. The cool weather reminded them of home. Within a few years, Ooty turned into their official summer capital of Madras Presidency. Businesses, planters, and families would escape the heat of the plains and move here every summer. Churches, bungalows, and schools came up, all built in classic colonial style. And here's something not many know: the world's first rules of snooker were actually written right here in Ooty, inside the Ooty Club, sometime in the late 1800s. Imagine that, the game that spread across the world, born right in these misty hills. Even today, Ooty carries a blend of British charm and its warmth. Every corner feels like a scene from an old story, and every turn shows why this hill town still feels so timeless. Now I am driving through Ooty's inner roads, the kind that twist and turn through tea estates and local homes, heading towards Kotagiri. At one point, I stop on the way, can't help it. There's this open mountain view that looks straight out of a painting. Zoom in a little, and there, far away, you can see a patch of red soil and green lines. That's a strawberry farm someone at my stay told me to visit. Didn't plan it, but looks like today's the perfect day for a quick detour. Here we are, the strawberry farm. It's tucked away on the hillside, spread out neatly, and you can tell it's maintained with a lot of care. I got here a bit late though, the afternoon harvest is already done, so no strawberries left hanging on the plants for me to see. But still, walking through this place feels refreshing. The air smells sweet, the breeze is cool, and you can almost imagine how colorful this place would have looked a few hours ago. Something nice about visiting a place when it's quiet. No rush, no crowd, just the hills doing their thing. From here, it's time to head to the main road, driving towards Charing Cross, one of the busiest and most lively corners of Ooty. Let's see what the lunch scene looks like there. And now we are right in the middle of Ooty's buzz, Charing Cross. If Ooty had a downtown, this would be it. Cafes, shops, and that constant hill station traffic where everyone seems a little lost but somehow enjoying it. Time for lunch, And I stop at Junior Pupana, a spot for its spicy non-veg meals. Ordered the famous chicken biryani. Smells so good that it could make you forget the cold outside for a while. A proper South Indian biryani. No fancy plating, just flavor doing the talking. Back on the street, and there's this old gem, Higginbothams, one of India's oldest bookstores. Even if you don't plan to buy a book, you'll want to step in. The smell of old pages and wood shelves, that's a charm of such places. And just ahead is Adam's Fountain, the center point of this whole area. Standing right at the heart of the Charing Cross, built during the British era, it's holding its grace with beautiful carvings and murals. Whoever made this really had an eye for detail. From here, we move into the market lane, the place that feels like Ooty's soul. Sweaters, tea, homemade chocolates, and all those tiny shops that never stop smiling at you. This stretch is what most people picture when they think of Ooty. Rows of shops packed close together, colorful sweaters everywhere, homemade chocolates stacked like treasure, and the smell of coffee drifting through the air. Vendors calling out, tourists bargaining, everyone in their old little hill station mood. I've sped this part up a bit, but trust me, it's even more fun to walk through in its real time. And as we move ahead, the vibe suddenly changes from this noisy market to this old world lane leading towards a botanical garden. Posters of English films line the walls here, and right around the corner, you'll see why. The Assembly Room, one of Ooty's oldest theatres. Today, it's a Tamil movie on the board, but just standing here feels like stepping into another era. On the same stretch, there's the Lolly Institute, another piece of Ooty's colonial past. And just a few steps ahead, the famous modern store, known for its chocolates, truffles, and hot chocolate drink. We'll get there later. For now, let's keep moving uphill. And then there is also this high altitude football stadium for the kids to train. Thanks. And here we are, the Ooty Botanical Garden. Entry tickets 100 rupees, and every rupee feel worth it the moment you step in. This place is one of the oldest and most beautiful gardens in all of South India, spread across almost 50 acres. It sits right on the lower slopes of Doddabetta Peak, the highest mountain in the Nilgiris. It was first laid out way back in 1948 by a British architect named William Graham McIlward. The idea was to create a garden that could grow and display exotic plants from around the world, and it still does. Walk a few steps and you'll see lawns trimmed perfectly like green carpets and slopes covered with trees that are older than most cities. Some of these plants were brought here from as far as Africa and South America, all thriving in this cool Nilgiri weather. And here's the famous glass house, inspired by the one London's Kew Gardens. Every May, this is where the Ooty Flower Show happens. A riot of colors with thousands of flower varieties filling this entire space. And even now, it looks like quite full. And you can imagine the energy this place holds during that season. Every path here feels like it has its own rhythm. Sunlight breaking through the branches, people strolling slowly, that calm smell of wet grass after a drizzle. And this right here, the fossil tree trunk, it's said to be over 20 million years old, found in the nearby region of Tertiary Rock. Hard to wrap your heads around, right? A tree that existed long before humans walked these hills, now preserved right here in the middle of Ooty. The crowd here is a mix families, tourists, school kids, and a few photographers trying to capture the same calm you feel when you stand still and look around. Even though Ooty has changed so much, places like this still hold that quiet old charm. You don't just walk through a garden here, you walk through time, through everything that built this little hill town story. And now, time for a cup of tea. And we are heading to one of the interesting spots in Ooty for that. And here we are driving through winding hills towards one of the locals' favorite spots in Ooty, High Hill Tea Estate. The road itself is part of the experience. Tall Nilgiri trees arcing overhead, fresh mountain air, and those small twists that make every turn feel like a new postcard. The shop below is a small attraction by itself. Puffs, breads, even instant noodles to go with your hot cup of tea. And of course, they sell a variety of plain and flavored teas that you can take home. This is a perfect place to just pause. Tourists, locals, students, everyone come here to sip tea and enjoy the view. It's not just about the drink, it's the calm of these hills, the green stretching as far as you can see, and the quiet moments where time feels slower. After tea, I take a little walk uphill. Nothing planned, just capturing the sunlight, tall trees, and the fresh Nilgiri air. Moments like these is exactly why Ooty stays in your heart long after you leave. And look at this. The sun sets so quickly in these mountains. Within minutes, the hill starts glowing golden, and soon after, darkness creeps in. A few more quick shots of vehicles with headlights cutting through the dusk. Perfect hill station vibe. After that beautiful tea moment, it's time for some sweet discoveries. It's modern store, a mini supermarket that somehow feels like a treasure trove. All kind of high quality packed foods from international brands, local fried snacks, everything you didn't know you needed until you see it here. And of course, the famous Moodys, Ooty's chocolate paradise. Stepping inside is like stepping into a cocoa wonderland. Crowds milling around, picking chocolates, truffles, and hot chocolate drinks. The air smells rich and sweet. You'll find chocolates with local flavors, classic ones, and some rare truffles you can only get here. It's impossible to resist. And the local must try Ooty Varkey, a heart sweetened puff snack that's been around for decades. Crunchy, just the right sweetness, and the perfect take home treat to remember your Ooty trip by. So that's it for today's journey through Ooty. From misty hills and lake views to colonial streets, bustling markets, serene gardens, and the sweet trees that make this town unforgettable. Thanks for coming along this adventure with Uncovermore. Till the next one, keep exploring, keep wandering, and don't forget to pause and soak in the moments along the way.